It all went down in a way nobody ever saw coming. Kirk Frost and Young Jock, two of Atlanta's most notorious reality stars, found themselves locked in a heated battle that turned the entire love and hip-hop world upside down. It started as a simple disagreement, but when tempers flared and secrets were spilled, there was no turning back. Fans are shocked, jaws are dropping, and social media is exploding with rumors that could change everything for Kirk, Rasheeda, and even Mendices. In a stunning twist, Young Jock accused Rasheeda of hiding a pregnancy. And not just any pregnancy, but allegedly with none other than Mendices himself. Emotions ran high as accusations flew across the room like daggers, and what began as a private argument turned into a public spectacle that nobody could control. The family was left divided, friendships shattered, and the entire city buzzing about the scandal nobody ever thought they'd witness. Did Rasheeda really betray Kirk? Was Mendices involved? And how will Kirk Frost survive this brutal blow from someone he once called a brother? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. The tension between Kirk Frost and Young Jock started at a casual party. The two men were at a mutual friend's event, and at first, everything seemed normal. Drinks were flowing, music was playing, and everyone was having a good time. But as the night went on, the mood began to shift. Some people noticed that Young Jock was glancing over at Rasheeda awkwardly, almost as if he had something to say but was holding back. Kirk initially ignored it, thinking maybe Jock had a little too much to drink. But everything changed when Jock started getting louder, speaking to his friends in a way that made the whole room go quiet. Jock raised his voice and said, "Do y'all know what Rasheeda's secret is?" The room went dead silent, and Kirk immediately turned his gaze to Jock. The atmosphere grew tense in an instant. Kirk tried to brush it off, but curiosity took over everyone in the room. Rasheeda, who was across the room talking with her friends, didn't seem to notice at first, but as soon as her name was mentioned, all eyes were on her. There was a moment of silence before Jock spoke again, this time with an even more provocative tone. He continued, "You think everything's perfect, huh? Well, it's not. Rasheeda's hiding something big, and you have no idea." Kirk's patience started to wear thin. He walked over to Jock, trying to remain calm, and said, "If you got something to say, just say it. Don't keep throwing hints around." Jock, with a smirk on his face, replied, "All right, I'll just say it. Your wife's pregnant, but the real question is, who's the father?" Kirk's face went white as a sheet. He froze for a moment, unsure of what he just heard. His eyes widened as he asked, "What the hell are you talking about?" Jock leaned back, his tone now casual but laced with malice. "I'm not making this up. Rasheeda's been spending a lot of time with Mendices when you've been busy with your projects. And now it looks like she's got a little surprise coming. But you wouldn't know, would you?" The entire room was in shock. People stood frozen, staring at Jock, while others pulled out their phones, secretly recording everything. Kirk could barely control himself. He slammed his fist on a nearby table, glasses crashing to the floor with the impact. The sound was deafening, and the tension in the room skyrocketed. Rasheeda, who had been chatting with friends, turned and immediately saw Kirk's furious expression and Jock standing there with a devilish grin. She rushed over, concerned, and asked, "What's going on?" Kirk didn't even acknowledge her at first. His eyes were still locked on Jock. He spoke through clenched teeth. "Are you seriously spreading lies like this? You think you can just come in here and ruin my family?" Jock just laughed, shaking his head. "I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. You're too blind to see it. You don't even know what's going on right under your nose." Rasheeda's eyes widened as she stepped between the two men. "Jock, you're out of your mind. None of that's true. There's no baby. There's no affair. Why are you making up these lies?" Jock stepped back, putting his hands up in mock surrender. "No lies here, Rasheeda. Everyone's talking about it. You think people haven't noticed? Mendices and you? Late night texts, secret meetings. Come on, don't act like you don't know what's going on." Rasheeda, now visibly upset, shook her head. "You have no proof. You're just trying to cause drama because you've got nothing better to do. Joke just grinned, his eyes glinting with something sinister. Proof? You really want proof? How about all the times you two were alone when Kirk was out of town? How about the rumors floating around town? How about the people who've seen you together? He paused for a moment, letting the tension build. And hey, I could even show you some texts, if you want me to get really detailed. Let's just say I've got all the receipts. Kirk couldn't hold it in any longer. He shoved Jock with so much force that Jock stumbled backward and crashed into a table, knocking over drinks. People scrambled to get out of the way, but Kirk wasn't done. His emotions were running wild. He was furious, confused, and hurt all at once. He turned to Rasheeda, but his anger was too much. How could you do this? How could you let something like this happen behind my back? Rasheeda's eyes filled with tears as she tried to calm him down. Kirk, please listen to me. There is no affair. There is no baby. You're letting Joke get in your head, and that's all this is. But Kirk wasn't listening. He turned his back to her and looked at Jock, his fists clenched. You're really going to come into my house and destroy everything just because you're bored? You want to ruin my family's life. Joke, with a smug smile, replied, I'm not the one ruining your family. I'm just the messenger. You've got some serious things to sort out with Rasheeda, and I'm just here to help you see it. The tension in the room was unbearable. Rasheeda, now crying, tried to intervene again, but Kirk was too far gone. Stay out of this, Rasheeda. I'm done. I need some answers from you, Joke, and I'm not going to stop until I get them. Jock raised his hands in mock surrender. Fine, ask all the questions you want. But the truth's already out there, Kirk. You're just too late to see it. As security moved in to separate the two men, the room was left in chaos. People were buzzing about what they'd just witnessed. Some were still recording, while others were trying to console Rasheeda. The night had started as a celebration, but it had quickly turned into a nightmare. The question still hung in the air. Was Rasheeda really pregnant with Mendice's child? Was Jock telling the truth? And most importantly, would Kirk ever be able to forgive her if he found out that his worst fears were true? As the tension in the room slowly died down, the damage had already been done. The seeds of doubt were planted, and they were growing quickly. Kirk's mind was racing as he stormed off the premises, refusing to even look back at Rasheeda. The hurt, anger, and betrayal he felt were almost overwhelming. The night had started as just another party, but now it felt like his entire world was crumbling before him. Jock's words echoed in his ears, each one sinking deeper and deeper into his thoughts. Rasheeda, still visibly shaken, ran after Kirk, pleading for him to listen to reason. But Kirk was determined not to hear any more excuses. As he stepped into his car, Rasheeda reached out, trying to stop him, but he slammed the door shut. Kirk, please, just talk to me. Don't let him get in your head. She screamed as he drove off. But it was too late. The damage had already been done, and Kirk couldn't shake the images Joke had planted in his mind. What if there was truth to it? What if Mendices and Rasheeda had been more than just co-parents? Meanwhile, Jock was on the phone, already spreading the story to whoever would listen. Yeah, man, I told you. Kirk has no idea what's going on right under his nose. He's too blinded by his own ego to see it. His voice was full of satisfaction as he spoke. He loved the chaos, the drama. It was what kept him in the spotlight. But as much as he enjoyed stirring the pot, there was something deeper in his voice that suggested he knew exactly what he was doing. His words weren't just intended to hurt Kirk. They were designed to break the fragile trust between him and Rasheeda. Jock had always known how to manipulate situations to his advantage, and this was no different. At the same time, Rasheeda was left standing alone in the middle of the emptying party. The few remaining guests tried to console her, but there was no comfort to be found. Her heart ached with a mix of frustration and disbelief. How had things spiraled out of control so quickly? Why had Jock chosen to accuse her like this? And why, of all people, was he bringing Mendices into the mess? Her phone buzzed, interrupting her thoughts. It was a text from Mendices. Are you okay? I heard what happened." She hesitated for a moment before typing back, "I'm fine, just need some time to figure this out." But even as she sent the message, doubts crept into her mind. Could Mendices really be involved in whatever Joke was accusing her of? The thought was too much to bear. Later that night, Rasheeda found herself alone in her living room, pacing back and forth. She had tried to reach Kirk multiple times, but his phone went straight to voicemail. She couldn't understand why he wouldn't just listen to her. Jock had planted a seed of doubt, and now it was all-consuming. Rasheeda felt trapped. She knew there was no truth to Jock's accusations, but convincing Kirk of that seemed impossible. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that she had to take matters into her own hands. The following morning, as the sun rose over Atlanta, the drama only intensified. Kirk finally returned her call, and she rushed to meet him. When they sat down to talk, Kirk's eyes were filled with anger, disappointment, and confusion. "I don't understand, Rasheeda. How long has this been going on? Why didn't you tell me?" he demanded, his voice shaking with emotion. Rasheeda took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. "Kirk, please. I don't know why Joke is saying these things. There is nothing going on between me and Mendices. I swear to you, it's just drama that he's making up to get under your skin." Kirk shook his head, his disbelief clear. "But why, Rasheeda? Why would Joke make something like this up? He's not just throwing around accusations without some sort of reason. This isn't the first time I've heard rumors. You've been distant lately, spending more time with Mendices, and now this." Rasheeda's heart broke as she realized how deep the wedge had been driven between them. She hadn't thought about how her actions might be perceived, but now that the doubt had been planted in Kirk's mind, it seemed impossible to erase. "Kirk, I swear to you, nothing has happened. Mendices and I are just co-parents. We're doing what we need to do for our kids. That's it." But Kirk wasn't convinced. "That's what you keep saying, but how do I know I can trust you anymore? How do I know that this isn't the truth? You've been keeping secrets, and now I'm hearing all this from Joke. I can't just pretend everything's okay when it's not." The argument continued for what felt like hours, but Rasheeda couldn't get through to him. Finally, in a last-ditch effort, she pulled out her phone and showed him the messages between her and Mendices. "Look at the texts, Kirk. There's nothing there. Nothing that even remotely suggests anything more than co-parenting." Kirk glanced at the screen, his eyes narrowing as he read the conversation. For a moment, there was silence. He looked up at Rasheeda, his face conflicted. "I don't know, Rasheeda. I don't know what to believe anymore." It was at that moment that Jock walked into the room. He had been standing outside, eavesdropping on their conversation for a while, and now he saw the perfect opportunity to strike. "What's the problem, guys? Still trying to convince Kirk there's no baby on the way?" Joke's voice dripped with sarcasm as he stepped forward. "I'm just saying, the truth will come out eventually. You can't hide things like this forever." Kirk turned to Jock, his eyes burning with fury. "You need to stay out of this, Joke. You've caused enough damage already. Don't make it worse." But Jock wasn't finished. "I'm just saying what I know. You've got a right to be mad, but you also need to open your eyes and see what's really going on." Rasheeda shot a glare at Jock, her frustration boiling over. "You're not going to win with this, Joke. I don't care what you think you know. You're just trying to cause trouble because you have nothing else to do." Jock smiled, his demeanor smug. "If I'm causing trouble, then maybe you should take a closer look at your own actions. Maybe you're the one with something to hide." Rasheeda, on the verge of tears, turned away from him. "I'm done with this. You've said enough, Joke. I don't need you in my life." With that, Jock left, but his words lingered in the air. It was clear that the damage was done. Kirk's trust was shattered, and Rasheeda was left alone in the wake of the chaos Jock had created. The future of their relationship was uncertain, and the lies and rumors were far from over. The next few days felt like a blur for Rasheeda. She barely slept, her mind constantly racing with thoughts of Kirk, Joke, and the devastating accusations that continued to haunt her. Every time she checked her phone, there were messages from friends and family asking about what had happened. But no matter how hard she tried to explain, no one seemed to believe her. The rumors had taken on a life of their own, and no matter how much she tried to clear her name, it felt like everything was slipping further and further out of her control. Meanwhile, Kirk's silence was deafening. He had barely spoken to her since the heated argument that morning. He'd refused to answer her calls, and every time she left a message, it went unanswered. Rasheeda was devastated. She had never seen Kirk like this before, so distant, so cold. He had always been the one to comfort her, the one to stand by her no matter what, but now he seemed like a stranger. The man she had spent so many years building a life with was now the one she couldn't reach. Desperate for answers, Rasheeda turned to young Jock. Even though he had been a part of the problem, she still wanted to understand why he was so intent on tearing her down. She needed to know why he had chosen to escalate things this way, why he had chosen to drag her name through the mud. One evening, she decided to confront him. She called him up, her voice shaky as she spoke. "Joke, I need to talk to you. This has gone far enough. You got to tell me why you're doing this. What's your problem with me?" Jock picked up almost immediately. "I'm not doing anything, Rasheeda. I'm just speaking the truth, that's all. You're the one who needs to fix your own mess." His voice was calm, but there was an unmistakable edge to it. "I'm not the one making things up," Rasheeda shot back, her frustration bubbling over. "You're the one spreading lies, and it's destroying everything. Why, Joke? Why are you doing this to me? What did I ever do to you?" Jock was quiet for a moment. It seemed like he was considering her words. But then, with a sigh, he finally spoke. "You want to know the truth? Fine. You think I'm just doing this for no reason. You've been hiding something, Rasheeda. And everyone knows it. Everyone knows about you and Mendices. You think Kirk doesn't know. He's just too blinded to see it." Rasheeda froze. The words hit her like a punch in the gut. "You're out of your mind, Joke. There's nothing between Mendices and me. We're just co-parents. That's it." Jock chuckled darkly. "I've seen the way you two interact. I've seen the way you look at each other. You can lie to yourself, Rasheeda, but you can't lie to me. I've been around long enough to know when something's up. And Kirk is too caught up in his own ego to see the truth. He's just waiting for the right moment to explode, and when he does, it's all going to come crashing down." Rasheeda's mind was reeling. She had never felt so betrayed, so alone. Jock's words were sinking in deeper than she wanted to admit. Was there really something to what he was saying? Were there signs that she had missed? The thought of losing everything she had worked so hard for was unbearable, but at that moment, she didn't know how to fix it. Her relationship with Kirk was hanging by a thread, and the rumors were only making things worse. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her emotions. "This needs to end, Joke. I won't let you tear my life apart. You need to stop with these lies. It's over." Joke's tone softened, but only slightly. "I'm not the one tearing your life apart, Rasheeda. That's all on you. But if you want my advice, you better figure things out fast. Because if you don't, it's all going to fall apart. Everyone is watching, and people are starting to take sides." Rasheeda hung up the phone, feeling more lost than ever. The conversation with Jock had only left her with more questions, more doubt, and more confusion. She thought she knew what was happening, but now it felt like everything was slipping away. And the worst part, she wasn't sure if she could fix it. Later that day, Rasheeda found herself at a crossroads. She needed to reach Kirk, but he was still refusing to take her calls. She didn't know what else to do. Should she go to his house and confront him again? Should she try to get in touch with his friends, hoping they could intervene? In the end, she decided to write him a letter. It was the only way she could think of to express everything that had been weighing on her heart. As she sat down to write, the words flowed easily, but every sentence felt like a stab to her heart. She had never imagined she would be in this position, pleading with Kirk to believe in her, to trust her again. "Kirk," the letter began, "I don't know where to start. I never thought things would end up like this, but here we are. I want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, that I have never and will never betray you. What Joke is saying isn't true. There's nothing between me and Mendices, and I need you to believe that. I understand if you're angry, but please, don't let this destroy everything we've worked for. I love you, and I want to make things right." She signed the letter with a shaky hand and placed it in an envelope. As she stared at it, she felt a sense of hopelessness wash over her. Would Kirk even read it? Would he believe her? Or had Jock's words already poisoned his mind beyond repair? As she walked to her car, a heavy weight in her chest, she couldn't shake the feeling that things might never be the same again. She was starting to lose hope that they could ever fix their relationship. The damage was already done, and she wasn't sure how to undo it. Meanwhile, Kirk was at home, staring at his phone. The messages from Rasheeda had been flooding in, but he couldn't bring himself to read them. The more he thought about it, the more the words Jock had said haunted him. There was no way he could just ignore them. There was no way he could just act like everything was fine when his entire world felt like it was unraveling. Jock had planted the seed, and now it was growing inside him. The doubts, the suspicions, the fears, everything was spinning out of control. The pain of betrayal was the hardest to bear. He didn't know who to trust anymore. Rasheeda had always been his rock, but now everything felt so uncertain. And so, as the days went by, the silence between Kirk and Rasheeda grew even deeper. The unresolved tension between them hung in the air, suffocating them both. And as the rumors continued to swirl, it seemed like there was no way out of the mess Jock had created. Would Kirk ever believe in Rasheeda again? Or was their relationship doomed to fall apart? The days dragged on, and Rasheeda felt herself becoming more and more consumed by the chaos surrounding her. Her life had gone from something that felt secure to an endless spiral of rumors, accusations, and emotional turmoil. The silence from Kirk was almost unbearable. Each day without communication felt like a weight pressing down on her chest. She couldn't understand why he wouldn't just talk to her. Why wouldn't he give her a chance to explain herself? The hurt from his coldness was almost worse than the accusations themselves. But even in her darkest moments, Rasheeda couldn't let go of the love she had for him. She had spent so many years building a life with Kirk, and despite everything, she couldn't just walk away from it all. She needed him to believe her, to trust her once again. But the more time that passed, the less hopeful she became. Was it too late? Had the damage already been done? One evening, as Rasheeda was scrolling through her phone, she noticed a message pop up on her screen. It was from an unknown number. Her heart skipped a beat, and she immediately opened the message. It was a short text, but it sent chills down her spine. "You're running out of time, Rasheeda. If you don't fix things with Kirk, it's all over." There was no name attached to the message, but she didn't need to know who had sent it. It was Jock. She knew it had to be him. His words had started to haunt her, even in moments when she thought she had a grip on things. The idea that Jock was manipulating her emotions, playing on her insecurities, had only made things worse. He was doing everything in his power to break apart her relationship with Kirk. But why? What was his endgame? What did he want to achieve by tearing her down like this? Rasheeda sat back, staring at the message in disbelief. She had tried to be patient, to let things settle, but now it felt like the pressure was mounting with every passing second. She needed to confront Jock. She needed to end this once and for all. But part of her was still afraid. What if he was right? What if Kirk was already too far gone? What if she had already lost him? After much contemplation, Rasheeda knew what she had to do. She couldn't keep running from the truth. She needed answers. She needed to face the chaos head-on, no matter how painful it would be. Later that night, Rasheeda arranged to meet with Jock at a local cafe. She had to do this in person. No more texts, no more phone calls. This needed to be resolved face to face. As she sat down at the table, she felt a wave of nerves wash over her. The atmosphere between them had always been tense, but now it was worse than ever. Jock was sitting across from her, his arms crossed and his face unreadable. "You've been stirring up a lot of trouble, Jock," Rasheeda said, her voice steady but laced with frustration. "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you trying to tear apart everything I've worked for?" Jock shrugged nonchalantly. "I'm just telling the truth, Rasheeda. You and Mendices. People see the way you look at each other. I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. That's a lie, Rasheeda snapped. There's nothing between me and Mendices. You know that. You know we've been co-parenting, and that's it. Why are you making this about something else? Jock leaned in, his expression darkening. You're still in denial, huh? You think this is just about Mendices? No, Rasheeda, this is bigger than that. You've got Kirk fooled, but you're not fooling me. You've been hiding things for a long time. You've been playing the perfect wife, but everyone knows the truth. Rasheeda's heart pounded in her chest. She had never seen Jock this ruthless before. His words cut deep, and the anger inside her began to boil over. You're a hypocrite, Joke. You're trying to ruin everything for me, for Kirk, and for our family. What's your real agenda here? Why are you doing this? Jock leaned back in his chair, a smirk creeping onto his face. Maybe I'm just tired of seeing you get everything you want while others suffer. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that everything's perfect when it's not. You've been living in your own little world, Rasheeda, but the truth always comes out. And now it's coming for you. Rasheeda felt her hands shake as the weight of his words hit her. You don't know anything about my life, Joke. You don't know what it's like to sacrifice everything for the people you love. You think I've had it easy, but you have no idea what I've been through. And you're not going to tear me down because of your jealousy. Jock's eyes narrowed as he leaned forward. Jealousy? Don't flatter yourself. This isn't about jealousy. This is about the truth, Rasheeda. You've been lying to everyone, and now it's time for it all to come crashing down. Rasheeda stood up, her fists clenched at her sides. She had had enough. She couldn't sit here and let Jock continue to manipulate her, to play mind games with her. I'm done, Joke. I'm done with this. If you think you can destroy me, you're wrong. I won't let you. And I won't let you destroy Kirk and me. We're stronger than that. Jock stood up as well, his expression hardening. You can't fix this, Rasheeda. It's already too late. The damage has been done. And if you don't fix things soon, there won't be anything left to save. Rasheeda left the cafe, feeling like she was walking out of a nightmare. She didn't know how much more she could take. The accusations, the lies, the constant pressure, it was all too much. As she got into her car, she thought about what Jock had said. Was it really too late? Could she still fix things with Kirk, or was their relationship beyond repair? As she drove home, the weight of the situation continued to press on her chest. She had to find a way to fix this. She couldn't give up on her family. But how could she repair what had been broken? How could she get Kirk to trust her again after everything that had happened? The road ahead was uncertain, and the future seemed darker than ever. But one thing was clear. Rasheeda wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. She would fight for her relationship, for her family, no matter how difficult it was. What do you think, viewers? Is Rasheeda's relationship with Kirk beyond repair, or can they still work things out despite the shocking accusations and betrayal? And as for young Joke, what is his real agenda? Is he truly trying to help or just trying to destroy everything in his path? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinions in the comments below. Do you think Rasheeda will be able to fix things with Kirk, or has the damage already been done? And will Joke's manipulation tactics finally tear them apart, or will they find a way to overcome this storm? If you want to stay up to date with all the drama, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping celebrity news. You won't want to miss the next twist in this saga. Trust us, it's about to get even crazier. Turn on the notifications so you never miss the latest updates on all the hottest scandals. Let us know what you think, and as always, we appreciate your support.